All right, welcome to the SNG Weekly Wrap-Up. I'm James Cringe. That's Joe Lozito. We are doing another episode of Ranking this week. But before we get into all that, let me just say we are presented by SNG Network, sngnetwork.com. Go check them out. You can see the link to the website in the description, but really cool site, a lot of good articles going up. And then also, if you're signing up for gambling, because I know everyone that listens to this gambles. So if you're signing up for a website, go use it. Go do it through SNG. I wrote a bunch of reviews about every online site you could think of in the country. But Joe, how are you doing today before we get into the rankings?
Doing well. It's about 90 plus degrees here. So
Is it?
Yeah, it's very
That's
hot. We haven't had a nice day in a long time. Storms all week, and now we're going to storm again at the end of this week. But
Nice.
We're here.
Yeah. Nice. I will be there in New Jersey come next week. So maybe we should just say off the top, we will not have a show for you next week because I'm going to be home and I don't feel like bringing my camera and all my computer and all my recording stuff. So sorry, but not going to happen. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, here it's like 100 degrees every day. So I'm kind of excited to get out of that. But Joe, we are doing a different kind of ranking today. It's not going to be sports related. And the reason we're doing what we're doing is because there have been a couple of things in the news that very rightfully so have not been at the forefront of the news this week. There's a lot more important stuff going on than anything we're talking about today or any of these stories. But the two stories are one, Carol Baskin, the star, quote unquote, of Tiger King, is receiving Joe Exotic Zoo as form of settlement. I think there's going to be a lot more craziness to come out of that with her battle with Jeff Lowe to see who gets the zoo. And then the other thing is, of course, we're just past the anniversary of Harambe. So Harambe's death in a zoo. So today we're ranking zoo animals. I feel like it made sense, right?
This was great. I was excited for this topic. Especially, obviously the sports landscape right now is muddy. We are not going to have baseball, I don't think. Don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I was all over that. And NBA, we still are weeks and weeks away,
Yeah.
But I'm happy with how the sports landscape has adjusted to, the civil rights issues that are going on. And I am excited to see kind of the change of narrative. And I think the NBA, which has always kind of been at the forefront of social, injustices anyway, kind of as much as they can be. I do think it's good and it's important for them to kind of be the first league to get back and seeing, how the players will kind of respond to everything that's going on. I'm sure it'll be a positive, pregame, perhaps mid-game, some kind of situation with no fans, which is a little bit weird. But I'm looking forward to that as much as I'm looking forward to the basketball itself, But we are not talking about sports today. We are talking about zoo animals.
Yes.
And this was great. This was a little bit hastily put together, but I think that's really the only way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you really can't spend too much time, discussing these 10 zoo animals that we have here for you.
Yeah, so let's jump right into it. I'll share my screen here, get up the rankings. I don't know why it's always so hard for me to share my screen. Can never figure it out. Okay, there we go. So I've put us into these categories. So we've got 11 animals. Sorry to correct you off the bat, Joe. But we've got tiger, giraffe, elephant, rhino, gorilla, koala, chimp, lion, hippo, panda, and zebra. And I've put these categories up. So the top category will have one, potentially two animals in it. This is the reason we go to the zoo. This is the reason to go to the zoo. So I think we'll both say our animal for there, and if it's the same, it'll just be the one up there. Then the next one will be could spend all day at this enclosure. Could watch this particular animal all day. After that, you've got spending more than 5 minutes at an enclosure, less than 5 minutes at an enclosure, and this is an absolute waste of time animal. So I'm not saying we have to have any in the waste of time category, but there's definitely a couple on here that I personally would put into the waste of time category. So let's start with the tiger. And I'll let you go first. What is the tiger for you? Or should we say our animal that's the reason to go to the zoo first? Or do you want to go through the list?
I mean, I know my top seed.
Okay.
I can start with tiger. This is you pick.
Yeah, let's start with Tiger. We'll go through the list. Let's do this in honor of all those scumbags on Tiger King, and we'll start with
Um,
Tiger.
so I do think tigers are a little overrated. I'm sorry. Depending kind of where they're at, watching Tiger King, I think was a hard watch because of the situation they were in with the enclosures itself. When you're talking Disney World, when you're talking Animal Kingdom, you're talking a much bigger range, bigger area that they're on. Those to me are a lot more enjoyable to watch. But as majestic of a creature as a tiger is, you're not getting a lot from them, in
Yeah.
my opinion. I think the Tiger King show actually kind of hurt the
Oh,
mystique of them a little
sorry.
bit,
Just
and
stopped the screen share by accident.
and the quantity over quality argument was certainly a problem there. So I'm gonna say more than 5 minutes, but I do think they are overrated.
So this might be our first debate here, I guess, because to me, this animal goes into the less than 5 minutes category. I agree with you. I think they're very overrated. I've never once been to a zoo, seen a tiger where they weren't just asleep, or
Yeah,
they weren't, walking over to another area to just go to sleep. So,
right. There's other animals that sleep more, in my opinion. I mean, I've
yeah.
seen some more engaged tigers, but yeah, totally agree.
So
And
I mean, it could be more than 5 minutes because you're waiting for something to happen.
that's true. And I will say too, I don't think I've ever really seen like a trained tiger. I think that would be a lot cooler.
Yeah, yeah, that would
Um,
be. Although I just would like to point out that any animal trained, I think, or any of these types of animals trained, I have a moral dilemma with. I think I kind of have a moral dilemma with zoos as is, but I love going to the zoo. And I like that these, at least in Fort Worth, I know they're all like rescue animals and they don't
right.
want them to breed and that kind of thing. So
I,
I'm
I
fine with
do
that.
think zoos in many ways do in at least the big commercial ones, at least in the cities here, I think do more good
Yeah.
sometimes. But yeah, there's definitely a moral debate for sure. But
Yeah. So you're saying more than five? I'm saying less than five, but it's close. I'm happy to put it in the more than five.
no, I think less is fine. I think there's definitely more worthy. If you want to start it with more, that's fine. But
Yeah,
I don't feel
let's
too
put it.
strongly about that.
We'll put it in the less than five. We'll put it in the
Yeah.
less than five. So next up's giraffe, and I'll start on the giraffe. Giraffe to me is more than five, and the only reason is I went to the Dallas Zoo in the winter a couple years ago, and I saw these giraffes having sex, and we must have been there for 20 minutes while these guys were just going at it. It was kind of wild. I'd never seen anything like it. I didn't know in zoos they put male and female animals together, but it must have been mating season or something. Or, I mean, it could have just been two males or two females. I honestly don't know. But it was maybe the most interesting thing I've ever watched an animal do because they were huge giraffes trying to mount each other. It was pretty phenomenal. And then I just like at the Fort Worth Zoo, you can hand feed them. So I think that's fun. I couldn't spend all day at a giraffe enclosure, but I do like them enough to spend more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, there's kind of a calming aesthetic around the giraffe, and feeding definitely helps out the cause. Uh, they're certainly stunning creatures, in my opinion.
Hmm.
They're pretty much exactly as advertised. I think some of these animals aren't quite exactly as advertised. I think I'm definitely more than five on there. I just think they're enjoyable to be around.
Yeah,
They're very calm. To see how they kind of go about their day is interesting, and seeing the smaller giraffes to me is always a cool sight. So
it is cool.
I'm in there.
When's the last time you've been to a zoo?
Um, the year after I graduated college, so it's been about 2 years.
Okay. Yeah, I
Philadelphia Zoo.
went last year. But I definitely plan to go back. I just love going to zoos. I always leave awful because I'm so allergic to like every animal. So my eyes are all watered and my throat's closed up and I'm sick for like a week after I go, but I feel like, they're paying the price of living in this enclosure and I'm paying the price of paying to see it. So, um, Okay, next up we have elephants. I don't really have a strong opinion on this one, so I'm going to kind of defer to you on it.
I enjoy elephants. They do a lot of different things, especially when you have some water involved. When you're seeing the bathing of the kids is always cool.
Yeah.
Um, I think they are certainly again kind of like the giraffe as advertised. I like the elephant kind of again rangier exhibits. I think I kind of feel the way about all these,
Hmm.
um, but they an all day thing. I think they're better than the tiger. I kind of think they're like the giraffe. I think they're pleasing. They are graceful in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm saying more than five.
Yeah, and you brought up the baby elephants. That is a great point. We had baby elephants here at the Fort Worth Zoo, and it was like awesome going back every time, watching them grow up, watching them play with the ball around. So definitely a more than five animal for sure. The next one I do have strong opinions on, and that's the rhinoceros. To me, this animal is a complete waste of time.
Agreed.
You agree?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Because for me, I can't think of an animal I'd rather watch less than the rhino. They are just truly boring. They are contemptuous with each other. They have to be separated from each other. They're pretty much the only animal that are by themselves in an enclosure. And I dropped my sunglasses in a rhino enclosure once, so that that was frustrating as well. Brand new sunglasses. By the way, someone stole my sunglasses this week right out of my car. I was gone from my car for maybe 5 minutes, probably less, walking over to the mailbox, and someone jacked my sunglasses. So I just don't have great luck with sunglasses these days. But for me, the rhinos are a waste of time, and I'm glad to hear you agree with that.
Yeah, they're grotesque. I mean, yeah, I'm not into rhinos at all.
They are grotesque. All right, you you kick us off with the gorilla here.
Yeah, I'm not into gorillas and monkeys. And be honest with you,
Really?
I kind of have a fear of baboons. I don't like watching the gorilla in the zoo because I do think they're very intelligent. I just don't think they belong there at all. I don't think they like humans at all. They're very standoffish, in my opinion. Um, don't like monkeys. I wouldn't say a waste of time because I do think it's important to see them. Um, I don't think there's any educational value from the rhinoceros. I do think there is from the monkey because you can see, and I shouldn't say monkey, I meant gorilla, you know,
Yeah.
and shout out Harambe, but I just feel like so many gorillas would have done exactly that, you know, that. And I don't know if he was protecting the child or what, but I mean, they're too much of a threat in my opinion. I mean, obviously a lion, tiger for sure, but I just feel like they, you know, the gorilla is a more, you know, humane treated animal, which is tremendous in my opinion. But you really can get a little bit too close to them, and I think they should be used. The same caution should be used with them as you know the animals of prey.
Yeah.
They're so strong. I have a hard time with them.
So I could not disagree with you more. I anything in the primate family. That's the reason I go to the zoo. Not gorillas. I'm just going to go ahead and move chimps up here because obviously you probably feel the same way about chimps. But that's going to be my reason to go to the zoo. So I kind of overrule you there. But with gorillas, with chimps, to me they're just so fascinating, and even just like on an evolutionary scale, seeing so many of the similarities that we hold with these animals is just fascinating, and it's fun to me. I love watching the gorillas. I could watch videos of people doing card tricks for primates and gorillas like all day. I love that. I personally I could spend all day at the gorilla enclosure. It sounds like you're more in the less than 5 minutes range. So I don't know if we just put them in the more than 5 minutes, so that way they're somewhere in the middle. But
Like I said, I think it's important to see them, but they always kind of leave a bad like taste in my mouth after I'm done.
so it used to be, or it's half price on Wednesdays to go to the zoo here. So when I was in college and have class on Wednesday, I would go all the time. It was $6. I would go in and I'd spend like 2 to 3 hours just sitting with the primates. I can't explain to you how much I love watching these. just the most fascinating creatures. I get what you're saying. Like, I would never want to run into one of these in real life. Maybe have a pet chimp one day, which I know is very inhumane, and I would never do it. But I love these animals. So, do you want to put them in the more than 5 minutes? Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it, just because, like I said, it is important. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just know, for all you gorilla lovers, gorilla, as Francesca would say, they'd go in my could spend all day here. And I'm overruling you on the chimps, but I feel like they're similar enough. We don't have to spend too much time on both. Koala bear. Koala bear, to me, this is a less than 5 minutes animal. It's always sleeping. It's a slow animal. It's very cute, but I just look at it, I say hey, and then I'm moving on. I don't even have much to say about it. For me, it's less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think in other countries they're like kind of common anyway.
Yeah.
So I just don't think it's much of a draw.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of can coexist with humans, I think, a little bit. So not really a zoo creature to me. Do think it's important to say, I'm not going to say waste of time. I think they do stick with you, and I think they are kind of utilized well in the marketing of zoos, because I think you can very much simulate, their kind of habitat pretty easily there. But yeah, no real nutritional value for koala. I'm not really
Nutritional value, maybe not the greatest choice of words. I I don't. For me, the koala is like, I think that we've all been tricked by cartoons and stuff into thinking these are the greatest little animals, but in
Yeah, I mean,
reality,
they're not
they're
like
just,
wise or anything.
yeah, they're
They're
just
they're,
boring.
they're cute. I don't know.
Yeah, they're cute. They're
Yeah,
fine. They're, let's move on. It's yeah. Okay, lions. I'll let you take this first.
I like lions. I think out of the remaining four, I envision them as my could spend all day here
Okay.
creatures. When they travel, as a family, it is fascinating. I do like you can really see the protection in the the male lions. What's the word? What's the word there?
And their pride, or
No, isn't there a word for like the leader of the pack, the father?
I have no idea.
I like
Sorry.
lions. I think they're complex creatures. Definitely Disney lions are great.
Yep.
And I think they're pretty much your prototypical could spend all day, because they're always kind of doing something, and especially feeding time. I think again they are majestic, graceful creatures. Can't say the same for a lot of these animals,
and
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 I
way
think
better than tigers. Kind of
yeah,
their closest relation here
right.
on
And it
this
was always
list.
kind of an unfair comparison, in my
Yeah,
opinion. So yeah,
I agree. I love lions. I again, most of my zoo experience in the last 10 years has been the Fort Worth Zoo, but so shout out them. But just going there, and they have two female lions in the same enclosure, and they fought one time. It was really neat. They kind of fought over over a ball or something, and then it kind of turned into play, and then they were wrestling, and I mean, I just lost myself in it. I think I was there for probably 40 minutes watching these lions, and the female lions at the zoos are always way better than the male lions. I think, just in terms of them being more active and whatever. But there's something about the male lion roaring at the zoo, which is really cool when it comes to feeding time. So I love that. Hippos are next on the list. Hippos fall into the same category for me as rhinos. To me,
oh no
they're
way.
a waste of time. Do you love hippos?
This is my reason to go to the zoo. I love
Is it really?
hippos.
Okay, well, you've
Yeah,
overruled me. So, but we couldn't be more different.
I love hippos. There's an aquarium in Camden, the Adventure Aquarium,
Yep.
where there's the two, I believe, largest hippos in America, and it's a little bit claustrophobic to watch them, because
Hmm.
they don't have the same habitat as a lot of your zoo hippos. Your aquarium hippos are a little bit different. I think they're the only really hippos like that are at an aquarium, but they're very happy creatures. They're
Hmm.
very social creatures. They're so fast. They're so dangerous. I mean, they are just probably to me, maybe the most brutal creatures on here. If you were to get entangled with one of them, but I think they adjust well to the zoo life. For the most part, they just
Because
seem
they're
like very
lazy. Because they like to
right.
just lay in the water. They're
So
boring.
I enjoy, again, the kind of aesthetic behind them. it's just a very primitive, simple life, and I think that's all they really want. I don't feel like their liberties are taken away when I watch a hippo, at a zoo.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most natural fit out of all these creatures to actually be at a zoo. Because I do think that they have probably more of a regulated feeding schedule because they are so lazy, um, and they're very cool to see up close too. I mean, they're just these little legs that carry the whole body. They're my reason.
Hey, I think that's a great explanation. You have done nothing to convince me. I love like Planet Earth or whatever. I love watching hippos, and I think they're fascinating out in the wild. There's never a more boring time to me than when we get into the like past the elephant enclosure, and then you've got your rhinos and hippos, and I'm like, can we just turn around? Can we get back to the primates and the ones that are fun? So I fully disagree with you, but that's fine. We each get our kind of veto up there for the reason to go to the zoo. I know you disagree with me about the chimps. I just didn't think we'd disagree so much as that I want them in the waste of time category.
Yeah, I mean that was surprising to me. But listen, I think you gotta go into it with a different lens. I think you're looking for like this like excitement kind of deal. I think you just kind of it's more of an appreciative thing. Like so being a species and surviving so long by doing so little
Yeah,
is impressive to me. I mean, they haven't really, you know, they haven't tried to do anything but be them, and I like that.
I get it. I get what you're saying. Very impressive to me. Just not a reason I go to the zoo. So we agree to disagree on that one. Pandas, why don't you take this?
Waste of time.
Yeah,
I
total
mean,
waste of time.
yeah,
They're cute. They're really
largely
cute.
asleep.
Yeah.
Everybody knows they eat bamboo. You're not going to see anything you didn't, expect to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, full agree. Definitely cute animals, but they don't even like each other enough to create more of themselves. So, it's how can I not say that they're a waste of time? They should be out in the wild, just being boring instead of at a zoo being boring. All right, zebras. Last up, I'll take this. I love zebras. I could spend more than 5 minutes at a zebra. They'd even be bordering on the could spend all day here as long as they're active. But I think they're majestic creatures. They're interesting creatures, obviously, in their stripes, and they're so unique. But they're like horses. Horses to me are some of the most fascinating creatures. They're strong. They're beautiful to watch run. So I love zebras. Seems like you agree with me.
Yeah, my favorite animal is the horse. I think they're your prototypical more than 5 minute,
Yeah.
um, exhibit. I don't know if they're an all day. They do have personality. Um, they had a little more edge. I would put them in the all day category. Their exhibit is always very well maintained. I always feel like it's very it's a very just nice area. They're treated well, in my opinion, and I think they're kind of protected more, at a zoo because they are prey.
Yeah.
I mean I mean prey. Yes.
Prey. Yeah.
Yeah, they're prey in the wild, and I do think zoos do help the zebra population a little bit, in my opinion. So.
Yep, I fully agree with you there. And I'm actually happy with how this list turned out. It is a little bit more even than I thought. I thought you might be swaying more towards a lot of the animals being in that more than 5 minute range. But for the most part, we agree. So we've got chimps and hippos as our, my reason is chimps, your reason is hippos, which is outrageous. We both agree lions, you could spend all day there. More than 5 minutes, you've got giraffes, elephants, gorillas, zebras, less than 5 minutes, tigers, koalas. Waste of time animals are our rhinos and our pandas. I have a feeling that this will be kind of a contentious list. So I would love to see in the comments if people agree or disagree with us. But I think you're going to hear a lot of people angry about this one, Joe, the pandas. I don't think there's going to be a lot of happy people
I
about
like
the list.
pandas. They're not a zoo animal.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I fully agree with you. They're not a zoo animal at all. But that's it. I mean that's kind of how I feel about the hippo, but that's all right. We don't always have to agree. Do you have any final thoughts on zoos or zoo animals?
Um, I would like to start going to more. Cape May Zoo is always great. Bronx Zoo obviously a
Yeah.
staple. Not too many in the North Jersey region here. I mean, the Six Flags just opened up their safari their outdoor one, which I've never done. But the last two I've been to, Philadelphia and Disney's Animal Kingdom, which
Yeah.
to me is just counts as a zoo. So it's been a while, and I this kind of made me reminisce.
I know,
my
me
days at
me as
Disney.
well. So you come visit me, and I'll take you to a zoo,
The Fort Worth Zoo, yeah.
the Fort Worth
Listen,
Zoo.
I'm all in. Is it open? I mean, what's the deal with the zoos
It
right now?
is open. Yeah, it is open. It's limited capacity. It's open. Um, Fort Worth just opened. Fort Worth Zoo just opened, and Six Flags just opened. But it's 100 degrees, so I'm not
Hmm.
going. Even though I bought my season pass, which was stupid, for this year. But yeah, it's pretty much everything's open down here. It's crazy. It's definitely different than in New Jersey. So yeah, come visit. We'll go to the zoo together. A couple things to look out for, you guys. I'll just say, as always, I hate doing this bit, but we are like a YouTube show, so subscribe, because we've got some cool videos coming out. We've got a new episode of Warzone, Only COD Can Judge Me, which will have dropped yesterday by the time you're watching this. And then I've got some good ones coming up next week. Joe, are we going to try to film a game of 2K11? Is that on the docket for us?
I wouldn't say it's a guarantee. I'd say it's an attempt.
We'll at least attempt to film one game. I do want people to see, and then I want to be able to rank our 2K players. So
Yeah, I mean, if we can't really do that without having the actual gameplay to show.
yes,
It
exactly,
really would be, yeah.
exactly. So we might just film it and throw it
Gonna,
up, and
I wouldn't say it's a guarantee because it's. I mean, some games are better than others. You got to admit,
yeah,
as a biased,
yes.
non-biased player here, there's some that are just brutal.
There's also something about trying to watch two guys play a game that's 10 years old, but use the worst players in that game and not sub out or anything. So that by the fourth quarter, everyone's just exhausted. So it might be more interesting to us than it is to you, but I would say there's a 38% chance that you end up seeing one of those videos. So look out for that.
I like those odds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about right. All right, Joe, you have any final thoughts here? Anything you want to leave the people with?
No, I gotta go to a pool somewhere. I'm gonna go find
Nice.
a pool.
I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. I am just going to go record some more stuff for your listening and viewing pleasure. So thank you guys for listening. We'll be off next week, but we will be back with you 2 weeks from today.